Hello again, Carmen Ryder here back with another commentary. Well, Dulu gave me a reason to come back. I was fully expecting a response to this video, but I never thought that Dulu themselves would respond. But, wanna know what is even more surprising? The fact that they covered the video on a live stream, to which I don't understand why. And it's not like they were doing a first impressions type video, because they said themselves that they already watched it.
I got my first video response, and I'm so excited. I was so excited when I first heard about this. I watched it. I had some thoughts, and so I decided that I want everyone to be able to see this. So I watched it, unfortunately, a second time.
I mean, it would be better for them if they did a normal response to it. That way they could get all their points together in a well put together manner. I still think their points would have been hot garbage, but they'd at least have a bit more time to look over everything. Now, because this is a live stream, I'm not going to cover it like my previous videos. Which, oddly enough, segues into another argument already. This argument wasn't given to me by Dulu so as much as it was given from the overall opposing side. It's that people said that they didn't want to watch the initial video because it was too long. To which that has some validity to it. However, these same people who said that they didn't want to look at a 2-hour-long video went to go watch Dulu's stream. And you want to know how long that was? 5 hours! Like, I somewhat get not wanting to watch a 2-hour video. Though, personally, I don't think you should speak on a drama if you can't get both sides on the basis of it's too long. But go on to watch a 5-hour live stream. At least you know how long my video is gonna be, but Dulu didn't say anything. And again, this is another benefit Dulu could have had if they just covered my video normally. But whatever, let's get started. I'll be going over their points in this video to see what I can comment on. I'm not gonna play it all the way through, but I will leave the original in the description so you can watch it. Also, just be aware I am in the chat during the stream, and while I do respond to some of the questions, I'm mostly there just to watch. Anyways, let's get into it.
You know, their disclaimer here goes for this stream as well.
Remember this part because it's going to be important for later.
It's either satire or constructive criticism and is not meant to slander.
Okay, this one I will admit is a typo on my part. Now, normally I would just take the L on this one and not go over this point, but there's a reason I bring it up. Now I will admit that, yeah, it is a pretty big mistake on my part. But how are you gonna criticize my spelling of slander when you misspelled the word warning on the tweet about this exact stream? By the way, guys, do you want to intend a Slater shirt once I get merch going?
Yeah, not cool. You should definitely, if you're going to make content and talk about this stuff, definitely put a content warning. It's not cool to just lay that on people.
I mean, I've talked about sketchy subjects like this before without a warning. My viewers have been fine. Plus, if you viewed my channel, you should know that I don't really do those. The only time I've really done content warnings are for NSFW subjects, flashing lights, and ear rape. And the reason I do content warnings for the last two are because those things can induce seizures. Van Zeusen.
Now, they always fuck up my name. Sorry, I know, I'm pausing. They always fuck up my name, which I don't understand because I've literally said it in videos before. But I don't know. I think it's cute when people fuck up my name. Junkie fucks up my name all the time.
Now, I don't know why Junkie does it. But wanna know where I got that pronunciation from? Luke's video on Just a Robot.
Before I end the video, if you want a more in-depth look at all the racist and just terrible shit he did during the Toby drama, I recommend you check out Vab Zeusen's, I'm probably saying that wrong, video.
Wanna know how you could have known that? By watching the previous video, as I mentioned. To which, you didn't. Also, I have to ask, why stick to that name? Why not stick with the name Dulu? It's easier to pronounce, it only has 4 letters, and it's easy to remember. Why go with Vabzakin instead of Dulu?
If Luke didn't shout me out at the end of one of his videos, this person wouldn't have found me.
Actually, I would have just seeked you out myself. Trust me, I was already trying to find you after that CBN segment. It's only a coincidence that Luke led me to you. In fact, I was going to cover Haunt Chew's video on lupus as well, but it seems that they removed it. At least someone came to their senses when it came to this drama. If you haven't watched my old video on Nani, then go watch that first.
No, thank you.
And afterwards, go watch the video I did on Prismate Luke, since both those videos are important for the context of this one.
They're really not. Those videos aren't important to this because the arguments in this video are just bad in general, so there's no saving them.
You'll soon realize you might regret that decision. You actually tried to make people not attack her.
Yeah, that's the purpose of a disclaimer.
And if you watched the videos before this one, you would know that there's a reason I pointed that out. The reason I pointed out in this video was because in the last video, Nani made a compilation of comments on Lupus's mental breakdown video, which could be perceived as her indirectly leading her fans to bother Lupus in the comments. I don't think it was done for that reason, but I do think Nani was extremely careless for that. So basically, I was giving Dulu props for not being like Nani, but because they couldn't bother to watch the previous videos, they didn't understand it.
Like, my entire, you know how when you edit stuff, like, you edit, like, the unnecessary parts out? This person leaves in everything. Yeah, no cuts, they just put it in.
You say that as you react to my entire full video unedited, which is just another reason why it would have benefited you to make a normal commentary and not a live reaction. Now, there are two reasons why I included everything. One, because, honestly, I just mentally checked out. And two, because I wanted to give full context. Everyone in both the Lupus situation and the Just a Robot situation leave out some sort of context. So, I'm choosing not to be like them to have full transparency. Now, you may be asking, but Carmen Ryder, why not just include the video in the description? Because I didn't want people to be harassed.
Grow up! They're mad at me because I censored the words because I didn't want to get demonetized.
I would be more inclined to believe this if you didn't use the word transphobe in your video. I'm sure that this would have no effect on your video whatsoever, especially since you censored one letter. Pretty sure YouTube's bots aren't that blind.
I haven't seen Nani's video, and this video made sense to me in the sense that, like, I could tell what they were saying, like, their argument. You're not entirely lost if you haven't seen Nani's video, because I haven't seen Nani's video, or their video on Nani, sorry. I think I just misgendered, I'm so sorry. I haven't seen their video on Nani, and it didn't really affect anything where I was, like, completely lost, so we're good.
Which is wrong, because the points I mention here have a bit more nuance to them, and said nuance is explained in the videos preceding this.
2020 and nothing is secret. That video's coming next, by the way.
Because after this video, you didn't do that at all from the looks of it.
I know. I'm so bad at releasing videos. Look at the time. 4 months apart and I couldn't do shit. That's how bad of a video maker I am. I am working on the age thing. I have a preview of it up on my Patreon, actually.
So the only way we can tell if you're lying or not is if I spare you $1? Yeah, no. You don't get coin.
Girl, excuse me, how late are you to this?
Only a few months compared to your, I don't know, 5 years ago! And this was another thing that was featured in the doc and in the previous video that you didn't watch. Creepshow Art didn't do anything to fix her mistake, like unlisting the video or deleting it, or even just leaving a pinned comments or editing.
I'm not Shannon, I don't care.
Good, because it wasn't directed towards you. It was directed to another set of detractors. Maybe because the evidence debunks their arguments?
Wait, let the video play right here. I'm gonna be transparent. I don't want to cover this part because I don't feel like I'm qualified to talk about relationship stuff.
Earlier, didn't you say you wanted to talk about LGBT struggles in media, aka relationship stuff? Also, if you're not qualified to talk about part of a serious drama like this, then why talk about said drama at all? Now, this time I won't redirect you to the video, but I'll keep it short and explain why the relationship stuff is important. The relationship with Cherosinese was him leaving Lupus in the dust, even when she seemingly had abandonment issues. And while Lupus did do a poor job at conveying that, Cherosinese didn't do much of a good job either. Also, he admits he would say hurtful things to her and even changed her DA name once under the guise of, it was a prank. Not to mention Wormzone also went on a 2-week break, leaving Lupus in the dark because his mom told him to. To which then he has the audacity to ask why Lupus was treating him different after said break. Also, Wormzone is a trans male, and this is supposed to be one of Lupus's so-called friends. Correct me if I'm wrong, but transphobes don't befriend trans people. There's a bit more to it, but that's all I'm willing to go over as to not make this segment too long.
You went over it in the Nani video you mentioned at the beginning? Okay, but what does that have to do with my video? The fact that you went over that is irrelevant because that part of the script is entirely irrelevant to the video that you're criticizing. And you would know that if you didn't cut in at the middle of a point.
It's the same subject matter, so it does relate to this video. As we've shown, a lot of Dulu's points are easily debunkable in the previous video.
That's not how that works, like, at all. That doesn't mean that she didn't also say queerphobic shit. Just because she made stuff to profit off of, like, the LGBT community doesn't mean that she's not transphobic or didn't say transphobic or queerphobic stuff.
She didn't say anything LGBT-phobic from what I remember. She just said that she didn't feel comfortable doing it.
Why
is it okay for you to acknowledge and respect the viewer's triggers, but not respect Lupus's?
What? Trans people are a trigger? Bro, she rejected drawing the trans flag. That's not political. Okay, first of all, trans people aren't political. Trans rights are a political matter. But celebrating being trans isn't political.
True, trans people may not be political, but the flag is because the flags are used to convey the presence of rights for said people, which is a political subject. As you know, equal rights will always be a political subject.
If I was condemning her for apologizing, then yes, that would be damned if you do, but I'm not. I'm just clarifying and I'm being transparent about the situation. Isn't that what, like, people get on Luke for, is, like, not being hella transparent and, like, not clarifying stuff? Me acknowledging that she apologizes for something and, like, not condemning her for apologizing, what's the point? Like, would you rather me have not mentioned that she apologized at all and just mentioned this?
No, I'd rather you not mention it at all, because that's something that's already been resolved, so it has no business being brought up. That's unrelated to the screenshot you showed. The reason she was being attacked was because she put the fact that she was Christian in her DA bio, and people assumed that she was LGBT-phobic when she wasn't. This was present in the doc. You should know this.
I wasn't talking about the DA bio thing. I was talking about the email. You say this is unrelated, but the thing that I got about her victimizing herself as, like, a persecuted Christian was from this email. She says, I don't know why they are because it's not true. This has been said about me before, even though I have done nothing. It's probably because I am a Christian and people assume I hate others.
Which is odd because you didn't bring up the DA bio. Also, that may not be what you were talking about, but that's what the email is referring to. Wanna know where I got that information from? The last video. The one you didn't watch.
Oh no. Oh no.
Using terms like yikes when discussing social or political issues, there's a 99% chance you're a moral grandstanding complete fucking moron.
Bro, if you're gonna get that mad over a single word choice, it's probably not because the word choice is bad, it's probably just because you're really salty because that word has been used when someone did something that you really didn't like, so you made that connection. Because I don't think anyone in good faith gets this mad over a word as trivial as yikes.
I'm not offended over anything. I was using that clip to point out that you came off as holier than thou. Which is true.
About for months.
Wait, earlier didn't you say you didn't want to make this video?
So if there was ever a situation I was expecting to talk about, I never said that. One in which an artist that I've been following for 5.5 years out as a transphobe, and then decides to take everyone to church as a way of trying to clear her name of the situation. Yeah, I wanted to make a video talking about how the internet has completely failed at discussing and handling someone's age in a given situation, but it's 2020 and nothing's secret.
Okay, I know this may not seem like a big deal,
What?
but given the inconsistency regarding Lupus's DA bio, so far Vab isn't exactly doing so well.
Okay, she fucked up at like 3 levels right there. First of all, I never said that I didn't want to cover this situation. If I didn't want to cover it, why the hell would I make a whole video about it? 2, the quote that you showed doesn't show me saying that I don't want to cover this. It's saying I wasn't expecting this situation to appear. And third of all, I never was talking about this situation specifically. I was talking about the subject of bigotry and a lot of the talking points within it.
You implied it by doing the whole, I wanted to make a video about this, but now I gotta do a video about this thing. Because equal rights is and always will be a political subject.
Okay, but equal treatment by your peers and stigmas, non-political, like that aren't legislated, like stigmas. Okay, this is the thing. Stigmas and narratives surrounding marginalized groups affect equal rights because, like, the right, well, first of all, politics is like legislative morality. That's what laws are. So if society deems that something is immoral or taboo, that's going to be reflected in the laws of that society. But that doesn't make the stigmas themselves political. And politicizing equal treatment and just respect of people regardless of their identity, that politicizing that is really weird.
Well, the thing is that bigotry will always be an issue on a social level. Even if you go the Shimo-net around and arrest anyone who says a slur, then people will find new ways to discriminate. But what you can do is fix said bigotry on a political level. It sucks, but that's just the world we live in. She didn't say she was against...
She said it made her uncomfortable. What? I'm not against this, but, like, I don't want to draw it because it makes me uncomfortable. Your existence as a human being on this planet, the way that you are, makes me uncomfortable. But I'm not against your identity.
She just said that she didn't want to draw it. She didn't say that these people existing are a problem. Jeez, the amount of twisting you did there just shows how detached from reality you are. So if a woman is uncomfortable around men, does that mean she thinks that every other man is a problem? No, it doesn't. Transphobic people don't make trans characters in their media.
Well, first of all, that's not her media. If she made it a dog, then she's making it to get rid of it in exchange for money. It's not like she made a trans character and then kept it and then used it in her stories. No, she made something to make a quick buck and hand it off to someone who wants it.
Well, yeah, but transphobic people don't even bother with that stuff.
Also, like, I went and looked into what this was because, you know, she doesn't show evidence of this.
You know what told me about the Pride Adopts? The document! Which we went over in the previous video that, again, you didn't watch. The document gave me this info. A document that you're in support of. So this is info that your side gave me. So if I have no proof, then where's your proof?
Also, worth noting that previously Lupus had no issue drawing LGBT flags 3 years ago and had drawn LGBT-themed adoptables for sale 3 years ago!
Yeah, and you wanna know when the whole trans flag drama was? 5 years before this post. Which is dated to be from 2020. Given the DM mentioning the Pride Adopts and this post, it's clear that Lupus was fine with drawing that stuff, and still is. And it's clear she learned her lesson or whatever. You're not funny.
Not an argument.
You're not funny is a running gag I have with my channel. It's kind of my thing. I've seen many Christians, myself included, pressured into something that we're not comfortable with.
Cringe.
This tweet literally says that Christians don't hate them.
Okay, you could say that you don't hate someone and still be hateful towards them. Like this tweet is hilarious because it's like, newsflash guys, Christians aren't homophobic or transphobic. You're just pressuring us into being comfortable around you as if your identity is moral. Ew.
Jeez, what kind of word twisting is this? In the first sentence, it says that they aren't transphobic. Why is it that you look so deeply into things that barely mean anything?
Acceptance of people on the basis of stuff that they cannot control and which they are not hurting other people. This dumbass right here is not accepting that and then expecting people to accept them for their shitty views, which they can change. And which does active harm. This kind of mindset does harm because it's trying to normalize homophobia once the most direct and abrasive form of it has been rejected.
You gotta love that word normalize. Like one tweet is gonna turn someone LGBT phobic. I've seen this term being used as a talking point from SJWs to ban stuff they don't like. We're adults here. We're in charge of our own beliefs. We take responsibility for our own actions.
Now this, I am practicing what I preach. I don't hate people for being trans or gay or non-binary or black or white or straight.
Remember this part for later. What exactly is this a victim mentality? You're literally just saying, practice what you preach.
It's a victim mentality because they act like their persecution for not accepting queer people is the same as queer people getting rejected on the basis of being queer, which they cannot control, and which does not hurt anyone. It's part of who people are, and if you're going to reject that, then that's really shitty. And then if you're gonna go on top of that and act like you're a victim because people don't want to accept your bigotry, that is victimizing yourself.
Well, maybe instead of harassing people over stuff like this, maybe you could just try to teach them your point of view and not be rude back? People are more inclined to be on your side if you go about these things peacefully. Are we really at a point where we're canceling someone over a liked tweet?
Yes. If you're liking homophobic or transphobic or racist tweets, that's pretty bad. Because it shows that you agree with the sentiments, which are bigoted sentiments. So yeah, if you're like, what the fuck? Like if someone went on Twitter and started like liking a bunch of posts, like being really racist, being like, yo, fuck black people, if someone's gonna click that. Like, yeah, that's pretty shitty, and you deserve to get called out for it and labeled racist for liking racist shit.
Even though likes don't always equal endorsements? I mean, my IRL friend is a self-proclaimed SJW, and they like a lot of the stuff I post. And there are other users who have to remind people on Twitter that likes don't equal endorsements. And why are we so okay with canceling people nowadays? What happened to the days when ruining a career was considered to be frowned upon? By the way, follow me on Twitter, I always post bangers like this. Has been known to oppress people's sexuality?
Whoa! What the fuck? Bitch, I live in America. Muslims don't have systemic or dominant societal power in the US. Christians hold way more influence than Muslims. What the fuck? Yeah, homophobia and like queerphobia in the Middle East is really fucking bad. But I can't do anything about that. I'm not Middle Eastern, and I'm focused on the bigger issues in the country that I live in because they directly affect me.
This was more of an overall response to SJW types. These people will go up in arms when somebody from Christianity does something LGBT-phobic, but when someone from the Islamic faith does it, they act like it's nothing. Also, I'd argue that atheism has more of a systemic hold on the US. But if problems surrounding both faiths exist, doesn't that mean we should help solve both issues? Why are we putting just our country of the utmost importance?
No one is born a specific religion. However, people are often taught about their faith at a very young age, especially in Christianity.
Yeah, that's indoctrination. We hate to see it.
So, learning about a religion as a child is considered indoctrination now? I mean, if you're not giving them a choice, then I can see what you mean, but simply teaching kids isn't indoctrination.
Taught about their specific holy book during this time, so they can grow to stand by those ideals. So while no one is born in a religion, it might as well be.
That's not how that works. Being brought up a certain way doesn't mean that it's unchangeable. Bitch, I was raised Christian. I'm no longer Christian because religion is not an inherent trait of someone. This is not the same as being born a certain race or like a sexuality or having a specific gender identity. You can't change that stuff. You can change your beliefs. Even if beliefs are brought up like from a young age, they can still change. Radicalization is a thing.
And people can go in life and figure out certain things about their sexuality. I was straight until I was a teenager when I encountered someone who I presumed to be a girl on DA. But upon finding out they were a guy, I still felt attracted to them. That's when I realized I liked all genders. So you can develop your sexuality as time goes on. Hell, I only realized I was trans when I turned 18.
This person, unironically, would probably believe in cancel culture if that's the case. Because cancel culture rides on the belief that whoever is being canceled is unredeemable.
I mean, considering how lupus has been metaphorically blacklisted, that's pretty much the case. Keep in mind, lupus's only crime was for refusing to draw a flag, and that's pretty much it. She isn't a groomer, she didn't abuse anyone despite what everyone is saying, she isn't a scammer, she just refused to draw something, and that's it. I mean, yeah, there's a bit more to it, but it's already a poor argument, and we'll get to it eventually.
We need to teach kids that being LGBT is okay. But Steven Universe hammers that in like a rusty nail.
Okay, what do you mean by that? I'm so tired of people saying this, like, oh, forced diversity, forcing, hammering in gay agendas.
Because most Western-made gay stories are propaganda pieces of a moral that's already been accepted in modern society. Don't worry, there are non-propaganda gay stories. For example, Sakura Trick, a good gay story that isn't propaganda. That being said, given the reputation gay stories have with being propaganda pieces, it's understandable to not like them.
And would you make this point if it was straight or cis people?
Yes, but shows don't do that in the modern day. It's mostly hammering in LGBT stuff.
Those do.
What do you mean by that? What does that mean? I'm sick and tired of this. Like, oh, you're hammering it in. Like, what? By showing that they exist? By acknowledging that they're not straight or cis? Like, what's the issue with that? What is the issue with visible queerness?
Because usually said show's selling point is the fact that X characters are gay.
The use of the darky thing wasn't not hammered in.
The thing with darkies was that it was a symbol for racism, not LGBT phobia. Hence the name Darkies.
By video evidence, you mean a single screenshot that was taken on a phone.
A screenshot of a video where you can see the base being used and changed.
Yeah, and screenshots being easily faked. Also, she's tracing parts of her own older art, then that's just called staying on model. Yeah, it's not the most professional thing, but it's not like a scam like people imply. Also, she was doing this on a live stream, then why didn't anyone in the chat say anything? Why is this stuff coming out now?
Yeah, she didn't want to get involved in potentially false accusations.
But she believed them. What? I had no idea they were into any of that. I only know them for their animations. She believes what this Clue person is saying. She's not engaging because she thinks they're false or potentially false. She believes them.
Well, yeah, you're right there. She also states, I am sorry, though I can keep an eye out to make sure things are safe. She isn't just ignoring it like you're saying.
Cultural appropriation is not taught in school.
I was saying that native cultures and the colonization of America is taught in schools.
No one uses the term SJW anymore because it's a wildly undefined buzzword that doesn't have any meaning, is really just used by reactionaries.
If that's true, then why do SJWs use that term to describe themselves?
Also, it's not racist like you're implying.
I never said it was racist. I said it was irresponsible. I mean, cultural appropriation is not racist inherently. It's a neutral term. It's a neutral concept.
If it's so neutral, then why is it even a point against lupus? Why even bring it up if it's not inherently bad?
I completely reject the concept of racial insensitivity. Racial insensitivity is a term that's only used to coddle racists when they get called out for saying racist shit. It's meant to downgrade the severity of racism purely because it's unintentional. Which, if you're reducing bigotry to intent, then you're completely ignorant to the ways in which bigotry manifests and spreads in society. You can be unintentionally bigoted. It still means that you're being bigoted. And you'll notice that this racial insensitivity doesn't translate over to other forms of bigotry. Like, if you're being misogynistic unintentionally, it doesn't mean that you aren't being misogynistic. We don't use the term woman insensitive. If you're being a homophobe, we don't use the term orientation insensitive. If you're being a transphobe, we don't use the term gender insensitive. We call it transphobia, homophobia, and misogyny because that's what the idea is that's being put forth.
I've been calm. I've been calm through this whole thing, even when I have no reason to be. So, please excuse me, just this once.
Hey, yo, the pizza here.
How detached from reality do you honestly have to believe something like that? How much of a lack of a social awareness do you have to even consider saying something like that? Do I even dignify this with a response? Well, I guess I have to, otherwise it'll seem like I'm taking the L on this one. You can't be unintentionally racist. In order to be racist, you have to have a hatred towards a race of people. You don't just accidentally hate an entire race. But if there's no hatred against a race group, then it isn't racist. It's just racially insensitive. And lupus clearly doesn't hate minorities. And wanna know why people don't say orientation sensitive or gender sensitive? Because people can't tell the difference between racism and racial insensitivity anymore. That, and because there isn't a word for it.
Keep in mind, Shady Durags is black, so... yeah.
Nice liberal identity politics.
Actually, the reason I pointed that out was because I know a lot of people like to use identity politics against arguments like this. I don't believe in identity politics, but I know a lot of people do, so I at least have to entertain that idea.
Not the way you can't read. Oh my god, right before this part that you've outlined, if we have to take legal action on her behalf and reclaim the damages from the parties who instigated this, we will. But out of care for her genuine love of this group, we are holding off for now. They aren't saying that they're not going to take legal action, they're just saying they're holding off for now, but if they feel that they need to, they will. They're still threatening, they're still leaving the possibility of pursuing legal action out there, and they're not ruling it out.
If I told you I really want to punch you in the face, but I'm not gonna, are you gonna take that as a threat? No, you wouldn't. And if you do, then you're a fucking idiot.
Okay, Carmen Ryder, if you're a dick to my friend and I say, hey, if I feel the need to punch you in the face, I'm gonna punch you in the face. But, for her sake, I'm gonna hold off for now. You would take that as a threat.
Well, yeah, that would be a threat, but it's a pretty reasonable one. Also, considering how Lupus has been harassed and blacklisted over this, her parents have every right to sue. And I'll be glad to get my bag of extra hot Cheetos to watch from afar.
But, okay, no, she literally preached about Jesus. How are you gonna say that she wasn't preaching when half of her video is just being like, anyways, God loves you, and he's gonna reach out to you, and you need to take it up, and if you don't listen to God, he's gonna chase you, because he loves you, and God made you in his image, and then you're gonna sit here and say that she's not preaching? Okay.
Well, yes, it does come off like that. Judging by her voice, she was never of sound mind to respond. And I even said that I agree that she should have responded better.
She apologized twice. She never apologized for rejecting people's humanity. She apologized for the sexual comment. She apologized for denying to draw a trans flag. What the fuck?
Even though those two incidents are one and the same.
Feeling when you unmaliciously use all the gaslighting techniques in the book.
If she's not of sound mind, then it's clear she isn't purposely gaslighting.
First of all, Steven Universe isn't porn, so it's really weird that she's abstracting homosexual love to gay sex, haha.
I mean, isn't fusion in that show a euphemism for sex? Also, the reason I'm hung up on it is because it's the textbook example of a show that uses its LGBT morals as a selling point instead of writing it in the story well.
You would only go over the points that you thought were relevant, and not a let's riff this person's mental breakdown session like Nani did.
Bro, I just noted that I think that kind of religious mentality is really weird. We're being led into this man's family. We're all a family.
Yeah, that's how all religions work. I don't see how being part of a metaphorical family is considered a bad thing.
Place.
Even though people have only heard about her recently due to this drama.
What? What? Lupus is only popular now because of this drama? Bro, I've been watching her shit since 2015. Nani has been a fan of her for years.
Which begs the question of why this is only coming up now. Also, I'm pretty sure no one was watching Waiting by the Phone animation meme back in 2015. And yes, while it is her most popular video, keep in mind, it's an animation meme. So people might have only watched it because they were trying to find the original. Want to know what animations I was watching back in 2015? Markiplier's FNAF animations, Meet the Amazing Team, the OG Jane animation videos, the OG Odd Ones Out videos, the OG Senior Pillow videos, Hot Diggity Demon, and Alex Spider. I was not watching Waiting by the Phone animation meme. Lupus, you're cool, I love your art, I wish it would come back. But let's be honest, you were a nobody before this.
Says the girl who didn't get what I just said was a joke.
Despite the fact that you told me that saying you're not funny was not an argument, despite it being a running gag.
Then why didn't you show a clip of that?
I literally did, where she's like, I haven't said anything.
You actually didn't show that.
Oh, you mean what one of Lupus's former partners did to Lupus when he said,
Oh my
I
god.
cherish you above all others.
What does that have to do with the fact that she tried to gaslight her audience?
I agree, it was a bad response, but at the same time, a lot of the people who get on Lupus's case for allegedly doing something are in themselves doing the same thing.
Please.
this comment explains it the best. Using SJW buzzwords.
Guys, gaslighting is SJW nonsense.
Not what I said in the slightest. I was saying that calling Lupus's mental breakdown gaslighting is hypocritical when her detractors have manipulated her in the past.
Okay, and yet she still made a shitty video.
Do you want to criticize her for making a bad response? Fine, but she isn't gaslighting.
Talk about shit like this. Just say the word. Don't beat around the bush. Just say the word pedophile.
Why? Is there a specific reason why I should say it? Because I have a reason for not saying it and censoring it, which is monetization.
Even though the algorithm would have saw Toby and everything else mentioned and still demonetized the video regardless?
Yeah, which one is that again?
Maybe the one with Slice of Otaku in the thumbnail?
I mean, I don't know what he looks like, and others might not know what he looks like, so unless you put it in the title, we're not gonna know.
Bad videos?
Admitting to biases doesn't make it good. In fact, it just shows that you're not willing to look at the other side.
Okay, nice straw man. I never said that having a bias makes your videos good. I said that just having a bias doesn't mean that you can't make a good video.
True, but admitting that you're biased makes you seem sketchy, like you have an ulterior motive.
If Spectre wanted it to end, then shouldn't you respect that as to not make the situation worse?
Why would I kowtow to how a white guy feels about me speaking about racism?
Maybe for the sake of the creators that are on your side? Maybe to go one step closer to ending the drama? You know, the thing you wanted Jar to do?
Keep the cycle going. Most people who criticize
Oh my
Jar for
God.
reigniting the
Let
drama
my
are doing
video
the same
play!
thing.
Let my video play!
Most people who criticize Jar for reigniting the drama are doing the same thing in themselves.
But there's some stuff that I... Okay, and I straight up say that I'm probably on some level a hypocrite.
Admitting to hypocrisy doesn't make it any better. Hypocrisy is still hypocrisy.
As well.
So, Jar did what you wanted, yet you're still not satisfied? Again, with the you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
I'm not criticizing him for apologizing. If I said, hey, Jar, you need to apologize, and then he said, sorry for doing this, and then I was like, fuck you. Like, yeah, that would be damned if you do, damned if you don't. But, like, his video wasn't solely an apology, and it had stuff that I disagreed with.
Admitting to hypocrisy doesn't make it any better. Hypocrisy is still hypocrisy. Yeah, but he still gave you what you wanted. He still apologized. You can't ask for something, get it, and then be mad because you were vague about what specifically you wanted from him. If you don't accept it, then don't. He tried to stop the drama, but people like you and Luke want to keep it going. You didn't have to do a video on Jar's Toby video. You didn't have to cover it. And if you wanted the drama to be over, wouldn't it be best to not shed light on Jar's video and let this all die? And one more question. Why make Jar apologize for things that weren't even bad that he did 5 years ago, but Prismate Luke doesn't have to apologize, despite him continuing to screw over creators like Jar, Just Stop, Harley TBS, and Hopeless Peaches? Yeah, riddle me that.
His character?
Then why not rewrite your script to be updated?
Bro, you haven't even seen the video. You don't know what my script entails. because it is updated to acknowledge changes and be as present as it could.
Even though you said that you would be holding outdated info?
You should see the comments on this video. Yeah, we can look at the comments after we're done with the video. Do you guys want to do that? When we finish this, do you guys want to look at the comments? Because apparently they're pretty funny.
Remember that part I asked you guys to remember?
Obviously, you know, their disclaimer here goes for this stream as well.
Yeah, that one. That coincides with this. You probably know where this is going, but we'll get into it a bit later.
By the way, can I just fucking mention how sad it is that I'm having to talk about the Toby drama in April 2021?
I agree, it is pretty sad that you bring up the Toby drama, cause you could have easily ignored Jar's video and none of this would have ever happened. Personally, I don't care about the Toby drama, but I care about Jar, so I have to indulge in this drama to some degree.
No, he was doing a skit.
Carmen, you realize that the purpose of a skit is to introduce the video, right?
True, but it doesn't always have to contain arguments related to the video. I mean, look at my video on SM Story Animated. That had a skit before it, but outside of its relation to Friday Night Pumpkin, it didn't have much to do with my argument. Skits are meant to be entertaining, and while they do have to relate to the video, they don't have to add on to the subject or make points. That's what the meat of the video is for.
Great.
So, it's okay for you to admit to being biased, but a friend of Toby is immediately dismissed? Okay.
Actually, I made note of that because I wasn't making note that she is a friend of Toby's and that's the problem. I was commenting on how literally her only reason for joining in was that Toby is her friend.
Yeah, wouldn't you try to help your friends when they're in drama?
Also, he's just
What?
pointing out the video got unfairly ratioed.
No, he was specifically trying to say that it was hate.
Yeah, that's what an unfair ratio is. Now don't worry, I'm not one of those people who thinks that criticism equals harassment. But at the same time, if your video gets ratioed when it shouldn't be, then yeah, that's not exactly criticism anymore.
I mean, what white person has a huge fucking afro like
Wait.
that? He doesn't look like Jimmy T from Oreo.
Wait! Hold on! Wait, rewind! Rewind! What? Wait, what? Oh no! Oh no! Oh my god! I'm like, yo, these people were calling me slurs because they thought I was Jewish. And she really just said, well, what's the correct slur?
Not at all what I said. I compared you to Jimmy T. That's not me looking for the correct slur. Nice to know you're willing to imply that I'm somehow racist because I made fun of your character's appearance a little bit.
Well, if you insist.
Could you imagine if she actually covered my fucking video on Digby from 2017?
Oh, don't worry. I just might. Funny how you get on my case for bringing up a video from 2017 when you brought up the Lupus Volps drama from 2015.
I had a point.
I mean, you do sound like a fucking valley girl.
Okay. We love the ad hominem.
That was not an ad hominem. That was a joke at your expense.
Yeah, because it is racist.
What?
You better not say what I think you're gonna say.
Bro, how is that racist? Wait, what?
Because telling someone they shouldn't speak on race because of their skin color is racist. No matter your skin color, you're allowed to speak on race.
The video for now.
No, you don't get to pause me. I'm gonna stay.
Now what? Wait, what? Does she think I'm like projecting my brain 4 months into the future when she makes this shit?
No, it was my attempt at a joke. Looking back, it was funnier in my head. But hey, I'm a woman, so what's your excuse?
Just freedom of speech.
He was
What?
saying that she can't talk about certain things because she's a white
Oh.
woman, even when she's not.
Where did Kai say that?
It was right here.
Also, a can of worms that didn't need to be fucking opened? You're a white woman. Who are you to say that? That can of worms is open for me and Omnia both, every day of our lives as black.
Pretty much came off that way.
Literally how?
Because he said, "Who are you as a white person to talk about this?" Implying that white people can't talk about race issues. Don't get me wrong, white saviors are annoying, but just because a few people white knight for people of color doesn't mean that people of color are the only ones who are allowed to talk about race.
And just because
Shit! This is a lot. This is a lot. Right wing and, wouldn't you know it, white supremacist faces.
white supremacists say it doesn't make the argument instantly invalid.
Oh my god, hopping on the defense of white supremacists to own the libs, holy shit.
Dulu, why aren't you letting my video play? Let my video play! Because if you let it play, you'd see me explain what I was trying to say. I was saying that we shouldn't instantly invalidate an argument because bad people use it. But somehow you twisted it to say I was defending white supremacists, which is not what I was doing at all.
I didn't say if white supremacists speak, then that means it's wrong. I said that the talking point here is common in white supremacist spaces, bro. And I specifically noted it as a straw man. This straw man is common in white supremacist spaces because it tries to flip the role of bigot and oppress. Bro, I literally said, hey, maybe don't use white supremacist talking points. And she's like, so anything that comes out of a white supremacist's mouth is wrong? Okay, guess we can't drink water then.
Yes, but you were clearly trying to invalidate Jar's points by comparing it to a tactic used by white supremacists. And I think I'm gonna end it here. There's a lot more I wanted to say, but at the same time, this video is too long, and I'm not prepared to make another movie. So remember that one part I told you to remember?
Obviously, you know, their disclaimer here goes for this stream as well.
Yeah, that one. Well, here she goes into my comments and mocks my viewers for agreeing with me.
You guys. Oh no. As a black person, starting off great here. So sick of being called racist. But people being called racist simply for disagreeing with Guy and Omni. Seriously, these people are such race card playing twats. Well, good for you. I don't really believe in the race card or any card, really. So, this doesn't apply to me. So I guess have fun. Her entire channel revolves around using buzzwords to emotionally manipulate situations to her perspective. When? Like when I said gaslight?
Like, if you want to criticize someone in the comments, fine. But don't broadcast it on a stream for the rest of your viewers. Oh, and she makes fun of the appearance of some guy in the comments as well.
Yeah, ever since she started to slap the racist label on Jar, I had to unsubscribe from her. Wait, is this mean? Is this mean if I do this? Is this mean if I... He's real mad that I called Jar racist, you guys.
Also, you gotta love how she acknowledges that what she's doing is wrong, yet she goes ahead and does it anyways. Why is it racist for me to make fun of your character's appearance, but you can make fun of an IRL picture of one of my fans? So, by your own logic, you are racist. Oh, and remember that other thing I told you guys to remember?
Now this, I am practicing what I preach. I don't hate people for being trans, or gay, or non-binary, or black, or white, or straight.
Well, she says this.
I hate the whites.
That's a good note of hypocrisy to end on. But Carmen Ryder, you know she didn't actually mean to be racist, right? Well, yeah. But wanna know what that is called? Racial insensitivity. Something Dulu claims doesn't exist. Anyways, we're done for now. I'm not doing an outro. Goodbye.
So am I. So am I. So am I.